でなんかほら Mac がなくてさ Windows しかなくてそれで設定をなんかいじりたかったみたいだけどさその場にさいるはずのスタッフがみんないなかったって
ライオンさん
そうで怒ってたウェイに
全部回るパレード。最初全部出たいんだよ。途中からね、ガチャに乗ったりするから、ずっとつけてない、張り込んでない。そのキャッチャーにみんなこのいいから。
家のパソコンで仕事が一回行くんだけど、どっから録音機能あるんだ。録音が。
浅草の早口って何？
それを
ああ、早口がある。
HDMI でさ、テレビで
馬の速さね、つやで。鎌倉の方のあれはからたまに行くんだけど、その早口が新幹線やってると思うよ。了解。
あれ録画できたの？しようと思えば。できた。パソコンで見ればできたでしょ。パソコンで見ればできた。スマホでもできる。
よしさん、じゃあ開始します。
お願いします。
This brings a little drink here, doesn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome today's guest speaker. お写真撮る方いらっしゃったら前の方どうぞ。立ったままがいい。座った方がいい。立ったまま。立ったまま。
お願いします。ありがとうございます。
この辺で。
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan. My name is Fred Varco, a member of the Professional Activities Committee. Before we start, can I ask everybody to turn off their phones or turn them to silent mode? Today's topic is pornography, and depending on what figures you believe, it's worth anything from $1 billion to $20 billion in Japan, and some say it's even worth 1% of GDP. Kaho Shibuya, our guest, has experience of getting into the industry and getting out of the industry, and she's also having to follow a lawsuit against a former production company for, well, she will explain herself. Mm-hmm. So without any further introduction, please, Kaho Shibuya.
Thank you. I appreciate your kind introduction, Fred. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for this invitation. It's my great honor to be able to speak at fccj and share my views with you. In my college years, my career interest was actually, in fact, journalism. And I did actually take part in internship at Yomiuri Shimbun and eventually started working at one of the sport newspapers in Tokyo. So again, I'm incredibly honored. And I don't really speak at this press conference like this, very solemn and serious. conversation. I always like engage in more like a cheerful streaming or the podcast. So yeah, I'm definitely a little bit nervous, nervous. I haven't worn this suit. Well, it's casual suit, but I haven't worn this in a year and it feels so tight and I feel horrible about it. Anyhow, thank you so much for coming here. Thank you for your questions in advance. So regarding my other career, so I talk about my career in journalism, but my other career, JB, known for Japanese adult video. So I was in the industry, and I joined the industry back in 2014. And I had my retirement in 2018. Since then, I've written a book about my days spent there in Japanese and also in English. I brought these here. You can buy them on Amazon, by the way. And anyhow, so I want to make this clear. Just first of all, I'm not here claiming that I regret my days there. The unique job fulfilled my curiosity and also gave me stepping stones to become financially solvent, independent, like strong women, I think. I've had both good and bad experiences, like in any other job I had in past, even in journalism, even like teaching English. Like, it's just there were always good and bad experiences in any vocation, I believe. It's just one of the bad experiences has led to a legal matter. My footage shot way back in September 2016, released in January 2017, got leaked on the internet in the end of 2021, unedited, hence uncensored, which means illegal content in Japan. I've seen similar things happen in the past to others, but because some still did business with their agencies, hence still active in the industry, or others had new lives and moved on and just didn't like to be in public eye. No one has ever spoken, and no one has ever taken any legal actions, well, until now. My case, therefore, is the very first one, which will probably be the precedence, because that's how the legal system works. They all, take care of matters depending on the precedence. I don't know if my videos got leaked by accident or on purpose. Police couldn't find out how. We only know who had the raw data, and they all claimed it was kept secure, then soon deleted. No sign of hacking, so we don't know how. Although the footage was from 2016, highly unlikely it just got slipped from database after 5 years. Actually, the director who shot my debut did a moonlight threat from the industry one day, leaving a lot of his staff members unpaid, also leaving his pets plural, so many pets he had, unfed at home with feces all over his apartment. Rumors said he spent too much money on high brand items and lost money, so he had to run away, which was 2018. Soon after the incident, unedited videos the director took got leaked all over the internet, especially of those who retired. Everyone assumed the director did it. For money, of course, only circumstantial evidence, but that was obvious. So in the JV industry, it's a known fact that there are people who sell unedited raw footage. But let me say this to avoid confusion. There are also people who produce uncensored videos in Japan, which is illegal, sometimes trying with a loophole to have a company overseas or shoot overseas with Japanese actors. However, some of them have been arrested in the past, including the actors. The point is, people have been illegally making money out of uncensored adult content in Japan, from Japan, with or without consenting actors. And my case is the latter, which is below the belt, no pun intended, given the illegality of uncensored adult content in Japan, I believe production companies have a fiduciary duty to keep each pre-edited content unleaked. If they fail to do that, whether intentionally or unintentionally, they should be held responsible. That is what I'm asking here, in my case. You might think it's an endowed industry. Come on, of course they're shady. You shouldn't expect them to make things right. Well, with new laws regarding making JVs, they're obviously claiming to be considered as a decent job. My case would actually, I believe, help them to do the right thing as a proper business. So honestly, in a way, I think they should or could thank me for the opportunity. But regarding questions, you can ask me about the lawsuit or ask more about the industry or myself. But I just wanted to be clear about the lawsuit because I never had the opportunity to talk about it in detail in English. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We will go to questions and answers. If you have a question, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation if you have one. Does anybody have a question? First of all, can we just get into the lawsuit a little bit more? Well, first of all, what was your motivation for the lawsuit? Was it a matter of principle or to get financial gain or what?
Well, of course, you can't get any financially. I think you're getting peanuts or it's going to be minus. But anyhow, I understand the image because like adult industry already have the image of gold diggers, right? Anyhow, so for me, I always wondered like, why is no one suing? Because like it's illegal content and it should be kept safely. It's like, you know, when some big company leaked or their like, personal information of customers leaked, they got sued in the past, like what happened to Benesse. So why shouldn't it happen? But because it was none of my battles, like I was never been the one getting exposed. I always thought, even from the industry, like if it happened to me, let's do it. Okay. So it was like a promise to myself.
Okay, and could you explain exactly who you were suing?
Oh, yes. So there are only 4 people or parties that had the no data. So, of course, production company and the editing company, I think they're connected, and the director and the videographer. So kind of 4 parties. So there are 2 people and 2 companies.
And what stage is the lawsuit at the moment?
Well, my lawyer, of course, they advise me or they prefer, they said like, they personally don't want me to talk like too much in detail. So I'm not going to name names or, of course, like I'm not going to say the numbers. But in regard to how things are going with the lawsuits, so far, Justice asked for a settlement. We're talking about settlement, but because they mentioned gaining profit earlier, but with an incredible minuscule number, minuscule peanuts, which could be bad. We could be. A, I paid way more than that for the lawsuit. B, such a small amount wouldn't be a penalty to the other side. Let's be honest, like, you know, when you do a bad thing, then you need to be punished. Otherwise, like, they might do the same thing again.
Right.
That's how it happened. If they just like give you empty apology, like they might do it again. That's the reality of the situation. The bigger the number, the more careful they have to be not to let such thing happen ever again, because that's for their own sake. That's how it works. It's about penalties. With this as precedence, like how my case is going, all the potential plaintiffs with similar cases will lose money, for sure. Because like they have to pay, well, I mean, if they, depend on how much money they have to pay for the lawyers, probably, but yeah, I guess most of the time like, they're gonna lose money. Instead, they just have to Well, suck it up. I guess like you have to be good at it anyway at the shoot, ironically, and be okay with the content, which shows your entire body with a pixel panties, no matter how illegal it would be in Japan. I don't think that's how the justice system works. Having said that, it's my own personal battle. It's my own personal case, so I can say it's not about money. It's not about getting profits. And yet again, it's the very first case. It's the very first time in the history with JB that somebody's like suing porn industry, like porn company, production company, for leaked content. So it's already means something. Well, as long as they admit their fault or apologize for letting such thing happened, letting their data leaked, I would say it's a win for me, but I've been hearing that they don't want to apologize. So it's been tough, because if they apologize, they have to admit their fault, they have to admit their responsibility. Like, as legally, they don't want to do that. So it's really hard for me emotionally right now. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know if any other actors or actresses have also expressed anger at having unpixelated videos released?
Oh, of course. I've seen or I heard so many things like this happen. But most of the time they're active in the industry, they're with agency. So they can't really do anything. They're not supposed to do anything. And I don't know if there are any deals with the agency or production companies. So, hey, like you leaked our girls' content, so now you have to use more of our girls. Or maybe there are some business conversations or how they fix things. But most of the time girls said, oh, yeah, it got leaked, but I don't know what happened. I don't know how, yeah.
Well, when you were in the industry, were you ever asked to make unpixelated or release unpixelated movies?
Oh, yeah. So again, that's the case. That's when people actually deliberately make uncensored content. It's not unedited content. They make uncensored, illegal content. I talked to girls who did that, and I also know one of the actresses who got arrested too. She said like the agencies said it's okay because we're shooting in Japan, or like the company's actually in the US, or yeah, they said it's okay, but one day the police just knocked their door.
Well, that was my other question is, there's obviously a question of crossing borders. So if Japanese people go to California to make that movie, and then it's released on the internet, how do you sue in that case?
Well, I guess that's great. I think that's a gray zone, and I don't know, like, I don't think actors are suing that case. I think the police is going to catch them if that's the case. And again, that's like a legal loophole. Like if you smoke weed in U.S., even though as a Japanese citizens, we will get caught. It's not allowed, but we do get caught. Or I think that kind of the legality issues. But I've never been in that uncensored movies, like formally. Like my case is like, the video I took, I shot in Japan and got leaked. So it's like a different case. So I don't really have any personal experience with that. Okay. I only know people who got arrested or who took part in the content.
Okay.
And gained a lot of money because they pay you more for that.
Okay. Any questions from the floor? Okay, I'll take up the cudgel.
Thank you.
Yes, motivation for getting into porn in the first place. I mean, you were fluent in English and you worked for a sports newspaper as a sports reporter. How do you transition into a AV star?
Well, it's going to be a long story. I try to make it just short and succinct and try to be entertaining in most of the interviews. But, well, just being big-breasted woman, I guess you get a lot of attention. Sometimes you get like really snide comment, or people give you really stupid nicknames like Boob Chan, or just like I wear glasses in my private time because I'm nearsighted. But I was being a reporter of a newspaper company, and I was following baseball team, and one of the baseball players like give me a nickname like lewd glasses, like lewd as like dirty glasses, like ero megane like in Japanese. And it's just you won't get taken seriously because your body type is just how they see you. Even when you're in suits, and if it's summertime, you don't have to wear a jacket. But if you're big-breasted, then when you're wearing shorts, it's becomes very prominent, and they actually tell you that, oh wow, I can't really look at you in summer, or just like those like really annoying comments, like you feel that you're not being taken seriously, or it's just the body is like dragging you down. So all those things, eventually I thought, why don't I just take control of it? Like, people ask me all the time, like, what's your cup size? Or just, it's so annoying, but why don't I just use it as, I don't know, my starting point, and maybe I'll feel easier, yes, emotionally. So that's like actually a big part of it. And also, it's about my upbringing, but I have been with, not anymore, but my parents have been very, very controlling, especially financially. My father loved to borrow me money. Like, he's always like, "Do you want to borrow money?" Like, "No, you can. Like, I can loan you money." Like, it's like they like to just financially control me. And I was like, if I can just have my financial freedom, I can get out of this, because I had other issues with my parents. They also, they're the kind of people who would give arranged marriage to me. I got arranged too. I know it just happens even today. I saw it only happen in manga and anime and TV shows, but it actually happened to me, and I just got disgusted with those things. And if I joined this porn industry, I was afraid to join, like, sign contract initially, because your whole life's going to be changing. Hey, like, they won't be able to arrange marriage for me because I'm going to be ashamed. Like, and so there are a lot of reasons. Of course, I always say, like, a curiosity, just to enlighten the mood. It's just going to be fun. But there are a lot of factors I had at the time. But yes, I didn't lie about the curiosity. I was also curious to, like, find what behind the pixels, right? Because the content in Japan, again, it's illegal to show unpixeled private part in Japan. So there are a lot of things going on in, like, the mosaic. Like, you can actually fake it, or you can be creative. Right? So yeah, they even can make fake dick or fake cum. So it was really interesting. As a journalist, I like to find out the behind the scenes and write about it. So which I did. So I have accomplished that.
We have a question here from Rocky Swift of Reuters news agency. He says, Netflix put out a popular drama comedy about Japan's adult film industry called The Naked Director. Have you seen that show? And if so, what do you think of its representation of the industry?
I haven't seen the show, actually. I like watching anime, and I like watching TV shows and English, so that I can study English. Right? Actually, the editor who helped make this book, he did the book for the original book, the original content that's based on the book, The Naked Director. Okay. So he edited the book too. I guess also that the time is so different. That's like way back in 80s, 90s. So that's before me. I never even met the director. So I'm pretty sure the situation was more maybe severe. Because even when I joined the industry, there were a lot of things that were not right, you could just say. I got birth controlling pill from manager, or I didn't have to take tests because somehow at the time when I joined, actresses don't have to show the test result of STD, but actors have to. There was like unfairness going on for sure. I don't know how much is still there. So I believe like a long time ago, maybe it had been, you just hear some scary stories, or actresses who were just forced to be there and she didn't want to do it and she just locked herself in bathroom stall. I hear stories like that.
Yeah, I mean, the law, there was a new law, I think, in 2022, which said that people couldn't be coerced into appearing in movies, and if they did, they could ask for that movie not to be released, and there was a waiting period before you signed a contract. And, so, do you think things have really changed?
I don't know what's in the industry right now because I'm not active anymore, and it wouldn't concern me personally. So I can't really say. I hope it changed for better, or everybody has to be constantly changing. Any industry, any business, because the world is changing. So we just have to keep updating ourselves. So I hope it's been better. And also now legally you can make JV content. At that time, there was, so back in, I wrote it in book too, when I was in the industry, there were like a lot of cases about coerce into JV, like it became huge. That became like a huge issue. However, I think a lot of people in the industry were afraid, like, wait, maybe we have to tone down the content. Like, maybe we cannot like tone down the BDSM and just maybe not so many cream pies, or they're just disgusting. Like, maybe we have to make the pixelization sicker, but not like thinner, because they were going more extreme. Yeah. They're trying to push more extreme content, and then a lot of people got arrested regarding that course into JV cases. So they were getting afraid, like, wait, like, what do we do? Like, we have to tone down. And it was like before Tokyo Olympics, like maybe we have to really tone down. We might get arrested. Or is it even legal to take JV content? Because some are arguing that because we have pixelization, we can argue that we are not actually having sex, right? So that was their argument. Maybe, is it legal? Like, so everyone was kind of afraid, like, are we doing something not right? And now there's a new law, so they know, like, hey, we can actually produce JVs safely. Like, and they know it's legal, at least. So that's a big change.
Any questions, anybody? You wrote your book, as you said. Did you get any positive or negative reaction from people in the industry about the book?
I heard a lot of people read the book in the industry, which is the reason I kind of cut out some stories. I didn't want it to sound too much expose. If you're in the industry, like, you know who I'm talking about, or so I didn't want them to feel like I'm just exposing anything for the sake of just a scandalous effect. I wanted to just write down my experience, and it's like a hidden. There are a lot of people don't know about what's going on, and I feel like if they are recruiting new people on an everyday basis, why don't we like share the info? Like, the girls should know what they are expecting. So, yeah, I really try to not to be too scandalous about it. Like, I didn't want it to be too much about drama and gossip.
So it's kind of like a guide for people who want to get into the industry?
Or who are interested, but they can't get any information. So, yeah, in a way. And it's not like I'm encouraging them to join the industry, of course. But other information, like, it should be shared. Of course, like, I heard like some people in the industry are probably mad, or they don't like the fact that I am exposing the truth, meaning like ruining the fantasy, because it's about creating fantasy, right? But I don't know if like keeping the fantasy is more important than telling girls who are joining. Then it's going to be a stigma, or like, it's like whether you just do it for one time, one video, or for like 3 years of career, like myself, it's going to be in your history. It's going to be in your life forever. And you might get, even though you want to hide it, it'll be a stigma, and then people find out. Like, they have to know, like, they should know what they are encountering. So that's what I thought. Like, I think it's more important than ruining the fancy. Yeah, it's like everyone knows it's fancy.
Yeah, I mean, the stigma is one of the questions I've got here. So, afterlife for porn stars, AV stars, I mean, you read stories in the media that, this porn star's gone to a cabaret club or gone to Yoshiwara or into soaplands. It must be hard to retire. I mean, you obviously created a success in a different sphere, but for some actresses or even actors, I don't know, it must be hard to move on.
Well, even like moving on to another sex work, you can get paid more because you have been in the industry as a star, JB star. So I don't know if they take it negatively, like, oh, I'm still in the sex industry, or they're like, oh, I can use my JB name, JB career, and earn more money. So they might see positively. So definitely, if you want to hide the fact you did it, it would be probably hard because of the internet, especially. I myself try not to hide it. I keep using the same name. There is, of course, both good and bad things coming after just using the same name. Some of your clients don't want to work with you because, like, when you search your name, like, on the Google, so it's like, oh, the kind of obscene things. So they don't want to really use you for mainstream things. So that's one stigma. At the same time, well, I am a fan of a lot of things like manga and anime, and sometimes when the author changed their name or when the talents change their name for singing, when I'm singing, I'm using this name, like artist name. When I'm DJing, I'm going to use this DJ name. It's just so hard to follow. Just for the convenience, I use the same thing. I also want to prove that I don't have to hide it. Like, I can still do more. So it's hard, but yeah, I think, yeah.
I mean, my point is that you're forever going to be known as former JV actress. And
right.
I guess you can live with that, but maybe some people can't.
I guess so, yeah. That's like what they have to live with. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, it's not a crime, but at the same time, it's like it's in your career. So, yeah, if they want to hide it, of course they can just claim like, oh, I didn't do it. Oh, did you see my face on the internet, like as a JB girl? Oh, that's not me. Or you can just claim it. And some people have claimed that publicly too.
Yeah, I guess easy now with AI.
Yeah.
But from the actresses that you've known, how have you seen them, move on from the industry? Have they found it difficult?
Well, I think a lot of them who are happy, I think most of them just like stay not really in this industry, but still like same sphere, like OnlyFans or something that's still like doing some ecchi stuff or like showing nudity. So, or like you said, like sex works. Those people, I think, like they have been benefited from the actress name. Some people who want to completely, I don't know, like get away from it. I don't know. I don't really know a lot of them, like personally, because all the people I talk to most of the time through work. So if they're not active in business anymore, I didn't have really. I heard, actually, sometimes you hear rumors, and like, some people do come back, or you hear like they're doing more like sugar daddy business too, which is again illegal, but yeah, I heard that too.
Okay, but you obviously basically quit the business cold turkey, as it were. So you suddenly one day you were an AV actress, and the next day you weren't.
Oh, I did it gradually. I was still like doing like
graduate.
Yeah, I did like retire. Like I did retire, but even after retirement, I was doing like a nude gravure or like very like ecchi gravure, like gradually.
Yeah.
I didn't want it like, hey, okay, now from today, I'm not gonna show cleavage anymore. Like no, like just gradually.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's also like just business.
But was it difficult to leave it behind?
Yeah, I mean still. I mean, I wrote a book about it, so like I can know. It's like whenever people want to ask questions, like, oh, so about JV, like what's happening in JV, like, oh, can you just buy my book, or so it's become easier with the book. Yeah. Oh, another question.
Yes. Let me. The date. This is from somebody called Automated Laser Monkey. So.
Oh, that's like for my Twitch chat.
Okay. The date of the leak you mentioned was when the videos in question started being shared through torrents and file hosting websites for free. But do you have any indication as to when the actual leak happened? After all, it is likely that the videos were being sold illegally before they eventually found their way onto free websites.
Well, I did not get any detail. We found out that it got leaked on the internet the end of 2021, and I talked to my lawyer, or I went to the lawyer's office. It was my first time meeting my lawyers too. That was January 2022. So I guess it was around November, December. They found that they also did their own research. Nothing more came out from the police report either. It's just they don't know how. So I'm not a detective, so I can't really, find out more. And whenever I talk about the case, especially on the internet, I know there are a lot of, some stupid comments sometimes on the internet, right? And some are just so really unrelated to my case. Some started claiming Japan shouldn't have a pixel on the private part anymore, or they're just switching the argument.
Well, it's an interesting point. Should Japan have pixelated?
I'm not the one to decide. Okay, so I'm not representing Japan, but and also I think Japan has more pressing matters regarding any rules. My point is it's illegal in Japan. It's like how you cannot smoke pot in Japan, how gay people cannot marry in Japan. It's just different in Japan. And I don't want to be in part of illegal activities, especially without my consent. But it's interesting. You brought up should we, or is it okay to remove pixel panties? I think it's personally, it could happen. I think it's fine. Personally, of course, especially because my content got leaked, I'll be emotionally more relieved that, so it's not just me, and everybody's now wearing panties, pixel panties anymore. So I don't have to feel weird about it. But I think viewers probably want what's happening. I guess they don't really, they hate just a pixel, the mosaic. But for the production point of view, actually, you can be very productive. You can actually cut a lot of budget by not showing the insertion. Because sometimes, so the fake sex is the obvious thing. Sometimes the actor cannot get it up, and you just have to fake it. And if it's pixelized, it looks like they're doing it, but you can't really tell. So you can fake sex. And what's good about it is, most of the time they rent studios, and that studio rental fees are expensive. Sometimes it's more than what they pay for actors. So if they cannot get it up, and if they cannot do the insertion, they have to sometimes wait for hours for an actor to get it up. So they can't actually cut the time, hence the budget. Also, if there is no insertion, I say actors get paid less. You don't have to pay that much. The insertion is the point. That can, the matter of a 500 USD, something like that. If there is no insertion, no physically demanding act, because insertion, especially for women, I think it's more physically demanding. So you can pay less for the actors. So that can help the budget. So the fact there is a pixel and you can fake stuff and be creative. There is also a fake cam, fake female. Not Squirtle, that's a Pokemon name. Sorry. The Squirt. So there are a lot of fake things, and then you can cut the budget.
So my question is, how much is faked?
No?
How much is fake?
It depends on the production. Sometimes they just don't even use sex. There is no insertion in the script from the beginning because they want to cut the budget. That's their, can we just do 2 sex and one is fake? That happens in the script too. And that's how they cut the budget. And they can make more money from the production. So maybe keeping the pixelization might help the production. So I don't know if they're okay with taking it out. But that's for them to decide, and for Japan's representative to decide, like, oh, are we ready to get rid of pixel panties? So, I don't know. Let's hear them out.
So could you put a figure on it? In your career, for example, say in a month's work, how much would be fake sex and how much would be real?
I think a lot of rich companies, they got budgets and they want like more real things. They can make that. A lot of time, I think 40% could be like a fake because they want to, I think the cream pie, I don't know what it is about cream pie, even in like hentais, like in like 2D manga, it's just, somehow it's like they're fascinated with it. I'm not. I'm not reading, but it's popular content, so they want to fake it. So, yeah.
Well, and on the flip side of that, my question I've got here is, did it always feel like work? I mean, sometimes were you enjoying it?
Maybe initially you're just so mesmerized or just excited. This is so new. It was so exciting. Eventually, it became more work and it became repetitive in a way. I get given the same kind of role, especially when they found out about my career, like who I was. Initially, they given like, okay, you're a girl from Aomori. I never been to Aomori. Wait, have I been to Aomori? But I'm not from Aomori. I'm from Tokyo. But you're given a fake profile, mainly, because they can create a fancy. That's the one reason. And two, like most of the time, you don't want to be found out by your parents or friends. So you're safer with fake profiles. So I got given fake profile. I kind of got exposed at like former journalist, former sports newspaper reporter. I didn't know like it was going to happen, but people found out. And I got a lot of reporter roles or teacher roles because they found out I could speak English. So it's like, again. And because of my figure and also I was, of course, it's not like I joined the industry like at the age of 18 or 20 because I had a career before that. I went to 4-year college, so I was older. So I got a lot of MILF roles. And again, it's like, it's the same thing, like I have the same things. It just got a little bit monotonous for me, for sure.
So did you have to speak a lot of English in your movies?
Yeah, like they're like, oh, can you just like wing it up and teach us English? Like, oh, okay.
So basically it became work.
Definitely felt more like work. But I guess I felt responsible. I like the work part too. Like, hey, now I'm taking it seriously. Initially, it was just fun. And I met so many fans and like, oh, wow, I want to make them happy. So I want to be taking, I want to take it seriously and do work. But then it became really boring. So with so many kind of same scripts. So, yeah. Sometimes you get excited for like, oh, there's a time-stopping content. Like I've never been in here. Like you get excited with some new stuff here and there, but it became monotonous. So I decided to move on because it was not exciting for me.
Sorry, do you have any questions from the floor? Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ty Barron. I'm a freelance journalist. To circle back to litigation, you were speaking about precedent earlier. What kind of precedent are you hoping to strike for the future if somebody is in the same situation as you where they have a leaked video?
I hope that they admit their fault. That's the main thing, whether I get any compensation or not. Like winning a case would be good, but it's like winning the battle or like winning the world. Like you have to see the big picture. As if I lose and then also they're not apologizing me or anything, then I think it's gonna make them look bad. So I really want to make sure that I want to really see that, and that could probably be better for the future. Like they might, or the industry might find it as a shame, like, okay, we didn't like do any compensation for the leaked content. Okay, looking bad, like, we have to do something to make things better, and they put that in writing in contract because you have to sign a contract every time before JV shoot. So maybe they put that in writing, like if the content got leaked, like we are compensating this much, or maybe in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to follow that up with, when you're done with the lawsuit, do you have any plans for what's next in your life?
No, even like this is not my main thing. Sometimes like I get called by a lawyer. They just had a Zoom call, another hearing via Zoom today, actually this morning. So lawyer called me and I just got notified. But it's just part of my life. It's not really my main thing because there's nothing much I can do because I'm not a lawyer or detective. So, yeah, but if talking about it like this, like sharing my views, could probably push them in a better direction. That'd be great. But after that, I just signed a mortgage loan myself.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's 35 years I'm in debt. But it's like, well, I heard internationally the mortgage loan in Japan is really good, like below 1%. So I'm excited. I'm getting a new place and I feel more powerful in my life. So I'm just excited to my future.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, please. I think it's on. On?
ネットメディア年間の佐藤と申します。よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
改めて非常に英語が流暢だなと思ったんですけれども、澁谷さんがこの英語がこれだけ流暢な理由と、あと今回、特派員協会でこの英語での会見に臨んだ理由っていうのをお伺いできますでしょうか。
Shipuri-san, sorry, we're going to have to use you as the translator of the question.
All right, so he asked me like how I studied English or how I got my fluency. Thank you so much, and why I decided to do this press conference in English. そう答えは日本語。
できれば日本語でお願いします。
そう英語は高校生ぐらいから興味があって、中学まで赤点だったんですけど、なんかアメリカンプロレスとか、の影響で勉強しまして、でもほとんど自己流テレビ番組見たりとかですね。もう一回中学の教科書全部やり直したりとかして、で。今回会見を英語でしようとしてやっぱり自分の言葉で話したかったのというのと、そうですね、あと通訳しててやつ結構時間が使っちゃうので、できればこの1時間をフルに使いたいなと思ってさせていただきました。
Sorry, we should be speaking in English. So the answer really should be in English. Okay. So can you translate your answer in English?
Right. So like I got interested in English from high school, and in middle school actually I was like horrible. Like, my scores were horrible, and I have to take like another test because I was like scoring really low. But from high school I got into like WWE, like American professional wrestling. I like watching TV shows in English. Mainly from TV shows, I guess. Like in my private time, I like to be really private, so I need some alone time. So I try to take a lot of English words from TV a lot. What's the other question? Oh yeah, the reason why I try to do this press conference in English because I wanted to speak with my own words. I wanted to be responsible for what I say, and as a person who claim to have like a good TOEIC score or ACAN, sometimes I get asked, oh, can you translate? And I hate that because I don't want to be responsible for somebody's speech. It's just too much responsibility. So, and also like, if there is translation, you have to talk and then somebody talks and it just takes a lot of time. I wanted to use this 60 minutes as preciously as I can. So that's the reason why.
Okay, any more questions in English? One of the things, I guess, related to your lawsuit in some ways is the explosion of internet porn and free porn sites now. How do you think that's affecting the industry? I don't know if it affects your lawsuit at all, but how do you think it affects the industry in that everything just gets out there so quickly?
It's damaging definitely the production company and also actors, they get paid less, of course, because no one is going to get buy the content. I guess the same thing is happening to a manga, or you can sometimes get the free raw manga. I guess those a free site. I don't know how free that is. I don't know if it's legally free. But I guess a lot of things, same things are happening on the internet. Even AI art and the original artists claiming hey, what about our rights? And that's not just regarding JP. When your content got leaked, and then sometimes the architects they get engaged in uncensored content. My agencies didn't do that kind of business, at least not with me. But when that happens, I heard that your regular JV sales go down because people can just see their pixelated content on the internet. I guess that could definitely affect business badly for active actors.
Yeah, I think maybe it will also affect the JAV industry versus international industry. I mean, because the JAV industry is quite popular, I think, in the rest of the world. So maybe it would make it better, maybe it would make it worse. I don't know. Because overseas, porn is not censored.
I know, right? And I went to oversee adult convention in the past with other JV actors, and then one of them got asked, oh, do you have any uncensored content? Do you have any uncensored videos? And she didn't understand English, so she could just pretend, but I was like, damn, they don't understand. Yeah, maybe if they focus so serious about going globally, sharing content globally, maybe they think about taking off the pixels. Right? That could be the production company might think it's better and let them buy the content officially uncensored. So that could lead to maybe a lucrative business, which is that's not my part to think about.
And another thing affecting the industry, I think, is sites like OnlyFans, where it's kind of one-on-one.
Yeah.
Do you think that's been damaging to the industry?
No.
Or has it been good for actresses?
I think it's good for freelancers because agencies, the share of agencies usually 50% in Japan for not just JV, but in a lot of entertainment industry in Japan. I think that's a humongous share compared to the rest of the world. I guess the agencies don't want to lose their share because it's a big chunk of money. I think site like OnlyFans, they want to have a direct contact with the influencer, content creator. That's how the business model works. So I don't know. It can be accepted in Japan because most of the time agencies want to take their shares. So I don't think it could work in Japan that much.
Another thing you mentioned earlier about some shady guys in the business, shady people in the business.
Yeah.
Is that actually true, or did you have good relationships with business people in the business, or are some of them actually very shady?
They could look shady, but you shouldn't judge the book by its cover, right? I have never met a person who claims to be Yakuza. That's one thing. But it's been known some agencies, they are delinquent or ex-Yakuza, or we don't know. But it's been kind of known fact that a lot of the sex businesses are connected to more shadier business. And also, I have seen some actors arrested, not as exposing genitals or anything. One actor, he was being counseled by the industry for a little while because he was two-timing actresses, and you're not supposed to date actresses. It's the industry rule. But he was being counseled. I guess he was not having any jobs at the moment in the industry. One day I saw him on TV getting arrested for, I think, a bouncer, loan shark bouncer, because he was a very masculine guy. And I was like, wow, I have never seen somebody I know get arrested on TV. And it was not just one time, a few times, not with the same crime, but yeah, you see some industry people get arrested. So that might say something.
Any more questions for the floor? We're running slowly out of time.
No.
I have another question, which is more of I guess, personal. What about your own personal relationships or sexual relationships before and after, or before, during, and after your career? How did your career in JAV actually affect that?
Oh yeah.
Or did it affect your career?
It definitely affected. Personally, it affected probably badly. I'm in a good place now, but it's kind of embarrassing to say like with a microphone like on live streaming. But I haven't had sex since 2019 September. Okay, so yeah, 4 years, I guess. Wait, 5 years? Almost 5 years? Okay. Oh, Jesus. Oh, okay. Now, before joining JV industry, so my first time was like 23 years old, so which is quite late. But I went to old girls' school, and my mother, I had a full-time mother, so I really didn't have time to sneak out or have a boyfriend. So 23 years old, had my first time. And then during my journalism years, actually, I got stressed out, and I guess I slept around, definitely. Then like reaching a number like almost 50 men in life, like in total, not like at the same time, no. Then joined the industry like with curiosity, and also like that's a cool, interesting story to tell, like as a JV actress. But after that, whenever you meet a guy for like a potential dates, it's not like I want to hide my past, but if I'm open about it, they want to know you as a JV actress. They want to know you. They want to ask you those questions, like, what is it like? Or is this threesome really fun? Or like, what did you do? And then it's like you feel like, okay, they're not talking to me as Kao Shibuya or like my legal name, like, oh, they want to talk to you. They're too excited to see a JV actress, ex or like former or active, in bed. When they take you to bed, they just want all those things on videos for free. Like that's the part I don't get, but at the same time, that's of course it's illegal to get paid for sex. But, it's just, oh, that's so fantasy. That's on camera, but they want it. They want the same thing. And a lot of times they open up about their sexuality, their weird, quirky fetishes. Like I should understand them all and like try everything on me, and just felt like, okay, this is not fun. And this is not even like a good, like it's not business. I can't really try hard because it's not work. And yeah, it just stopped being fun. And yeah, I wanted to really focus on my life being independent woman. So I was like, okay, I don't have to go date, or I don't have to have sex because I have plenty. And I don't really watch porn. I read very ecchi manga, very passionately, but I don't really interested in like a real human beings intertwining in front of me. So I was like, okay, I don't really need this. So I'm in good place. That definitely, the JV days, the fact that I've been known for JV made my personal sex life or dating life so incredibly boring. Yeah.
Okay, and I have a quote from you from an interview you did in a Japanese magazine. It says, "Don't try to imitate the content of AV." What's the meaning behind that one?
It's entertainment. It's fantasy. Even when you're not feeling too good, you need big reactions, and you have to be just an nymphomaniac. Like it's a role we play. But even directors in the industry, they want you to really feel it. Even directors, like we say JV actors, but no one thinks like we are real actors. Like they all assume, like they all expect you to be really enjoying it. Like even the production company people, like they have a meeting with me before the JV shoot, and they ask questions like, "Oh, do you like to like expose yourself in public? Like then do you feel excited about it?" And I was like, "No, it's illegal. I don't want to get caught, so no." And like, they're like, "Oh, okay." Like they're just like so disappointed. So I just faked in interviews too, like in meetings, like to producers, directors. I try to be very actory and like happy nymphomaniac. So because they love that, that's how I got casted. But that's not real life. And sometimes, oh my God, it hurts a little. You can't see it. And you have to put a smile on your face. So just don't believe like everything in there is just good to have. Because I had experiences like men like try to do the same thing in bed when there is no camera, no lights, and then they expect me to enjoy it. And I couldn't say no because I didn't want to ruin the fantasies. But yeah, that's the truth. Like we do it sometimes for work.
Yeah. Okay, we're nearly out of time. If there's any more questions from the floor, we'll take that, but there aren't. So the future for Kaho Shibuya, how do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years' time?
Well, I can't really say because 5 years and 10 years, I don't know how the world is changing. Now, like everything is like smartphone and apps. No more like point cards and more like get into the app, and it's just a lot of things have been changing. So I don't know how the world is going to be in 10 years, 5 years. Not a lot of people had like a laptop in the past, like unless you're generous. It's just things has been changing. So I can't say, but I'll be still paying for a mortgage loan for sure. I have 35 years. I really want to do more things. Like I want to make more things possible. For me, hopefully I can represent one of the retired actresses as like a hopeful figure that, okay, you don't really have to be cookie cutter into like, okay, done sex work and then like, always talking about sex work or just doing something related to sex, but you can do more things, like other things.
Okay, thank you. We're bang on time. It's 1 hour, and I want to thank Kaho Shibuya very much for coming here today.
Thank you.
And giving us a very clear insight into the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're finished. Thank you, Kaho.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Fred. Oh, sure.
My wife played the games.
Yeah.
And she's gaming. So
Basically the same content, more simplified.
We're meeting every day.
2020, 2 years after.
You would be very good at public affairs. Familiar with PR? PR business? Yeah, wonderful person.
Thank you.
Language skills. I think that's something you could probably do quite well. No, seriously, I'm a marketing person. I've been here in Japan for 2 years. Did you ever overseas?
No.
Always in Japan.
Always in Japan. I mean,
You're right?
foreign issue, right?
Is that like if you was in the US or Germany?
Oh, no. I did only like a career shoot, like a new shoot in Germany.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. Take care. You'll do fine.
probably my friend.
どちらが具体的な性別かわからないので、こっちの方が早く2020年。年齢公表してないんですけど。 本当ですかね。私は次の年食べ物入らなかった。
3年後か4年ぐらいの
3.11があって。そうなんですか。ではもう違うんですか。そうですね。一応オファーをいただいて、なかなか機会が、そんななんかお話をいただけることもないと思うので、英語で会見して、日本で英語で会見して、日本の方も
なんかメール来たやつ返信しちゃっていいの？
返信した力道山でしょ？返信した。
2003年のあ、分かった。
結構今回訴訟の件結構日本人の方が会見されるときって訴訟となんか問題提起のときとか海外のドラマとかの公開に合わせてとかなんかハッピーな話題かちょっとなんか悲しい話題というかなんかちょっとシリアスな話題のどっちかどっち枠なんだろう自分が分かってなくてだからちょっとそうですねなんか英語の方が自分らしく喋れるのかなと思いましたね。そういうなんかジョーク言ったりとかそういったことも。日本で去年起こった時に裁判所で会見させていただいた時まだマスクとかつけた時期なんですけどそのニュースで結構フェミナルって硬い人とかに怒られることが多くて取材中からこういうの言ったかと思ったら全然そんなことなかったけど言われるのでそういうそうかなんかフェミ感みたいなのが出ちゃっても今時ネットの影響でちょっと怖いイメージ持たったのかなと思って。業界にいないので、実際にどうなのかわからないんですけども、ちゃんと英語についてちゃんと英語について会見でも話したんですけど、強制的に話題になって2017年ぐらい業界でもね、AV 撮っていいのかなとか、モザイクで隠してるけど、セックスしちゃいけないんじゃないかとか、みんな大丈夫からみんな不安だったので、進歩のおかげで、ちゃんと撮っていいんだってことがはっきりしたので、
会議テーブルさ、1個だけ残しといて。じゃあ多分違う記事を上で実は書いたんですけど、今日予定を見て、ゲームを一緒に来週の何か一緒に対談してる YouTube を見まして、
コナーとかで、
それで妻がゲーマーの見て応援してますが、ただそれだけを言ってました。私の友人のタイプが。
Nice to meet you. Thanks for. So I probably do want to do
Stick on my social media. This is a website. Direct email to my management. So there's 50.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Just sometimes I get, even through website, I get weird messages.
She watches our YouTube.
Oh, okay.
This is also my good channel. I have too many words.
Good luck.
Yeah, sounds good.
And then now we can keep the management happy. That's right. It was surprising that. It's like,
How's the police beating? By beating, Manila was actually police.
Oh yeah? It's well, I mean, it's a bunch of like petty like.
You have a murder case a lot too?
What?
Murder?
lots of butter, which you probably know from Manila's, makes New York look